Okay, hello. Welcome. We're going to wait a minute while everybody logs in, and while they log in, I'll kind of introduce you to what we're doing and the topic, how we're going to do this, talk about who I am a little bit, just give everybody a little bit of time. So as many of you, I think, probably were in the last one. If you weren't in the last one, welcome to this newly. We're going to run this in a way that you can start from the top. We're going to review what we did very briefly from the last session, so you're at least tracking. Or if you did it last time, you'll be able to review what we did and remember it. And then we're going to go on and learn some new things. So what we're doing today is this course called the Learning Book. So I brought some fun copies of it. This is an old copy, like the original copy. You can see actually it's been on my shelf for many, many years. This is one that I studied when I was a young man. Still have this book. Anyway, it's a book that gives a bunch of answers on how to study more effectively. It's really good. And so we're going to talk today about some things called the barriers to study. And just for fun, this book has several, thank you, Lachlan. If you guys want to see, this is Lachlan, TK, who is helping put this on. This is her son, and he did a demo for us today that we're going to use. So when you see this, know that this is Lachlan's. No. All right, good. So anyway, this has been translated into a bunch of different languages. It's been around a long time. Really great book based on the study technology of L. Ron Hubbard. It's excellent. So here we go. First thing to know. When you're studying at Delphian, you study off what's called a learning guide. This goes step by step. It'll list, you'll see it'll have a step, read these pages, then an activity, tells you what to do so you can practice using it or do a little bit of activity that helps the learning really stick in and helps you really know how to do something with what you just studied. So yesterday we went through the check sheet up to somewhere right about here. We're not doing exactly the check sheet because we're on the webinar. We can't do it exactly the same, but we're mostly following along to get a good introduction to this subject. So today we're just going to keep on going. So here is what we'll do. So a little bit about me. I'm Sam Silver. Hi. I've been teaching at Delphian for about 20 years. I now work over at Heron Books. I love teaching students how to not need teachers. To me, if you're doing education right, the end product of it isn't that you know everything, but you know how to ask questions, you know how to get answers. And if a student can end off their education knowing how to go find things and get information and create new ideas and go learn about anything they want to learn without having to have a teacher to walk them through, that's a really good education. So I'm going to try to pass a little bit of that on to you. And that's kind of my goal in education, is trying to help people be better able to learn anything they want to learn. Okay, good. So let's get right to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by reviewing some of what we did yesterday. We're going to go through it pretty quick. If you're having any trouble, you can pop it into the Q&A and I'll do my best to help you out, okay? And hello, everybody. I'm just looking at all the people that have checked in. Hello again, Andrew. Good to see you. Milo, welcome. Gayatri, hello. Good to have you again. Alette and Jolly, great to have you guys. So here we go. Okay. So we are going to just review what we started yesterday. So we're going to start here. To study is to look at something, to find out more about it. Again, sorry, this book is set up kind of like this. So you'll see some of the pages, sorry, some of the pages are like that. And so it'll look a little bit funny when we pull it up on the screen, but I think it'll work. So to review that, study means to look at something and to find out more about it. There are many ways to study. For someone to study, there has to be something there to study. Oh, sorry, I skipped a section, sorry. People study so they can know how to do things. I want to know how to climb trees. So she asks somebody, how do you climb trees? Then she watches. This person says, just watch me. She watches, and then she's climbing a tree. For someone to study, there has to be something there to study. This guy says, I want to study wugs. Have you seen any wugs? Wugs? No, I haven't seen any. Got any books on wugs? Wugs? No, no books on wugs. Tell me about wugs. Wugs? There are no such thing as wugs. I guess I'll study bugs. For you to study something, you must know there is something about it that you don't know. So here, I love this. This guy starts with this question. This is what he doesn't know, right? How do bugs eat? Do they go to sleep at night? What do bugs do when it gets cold? Before you start studying something, find out if there's something you could learn about it. How to study. 1, get the information. 2, see how you can use it. 3, use it. That's a pretty good set of steps, don't you think? So here he says, studying is fun. Wow! And studying should be fun, guys. All right, as you study, you can speed along, learning more and more, being more able to do more and more. This guy's zooming along, but sometimes you run into the barriers to study. So here you see he was speeding along, ran into a barrier. A barrier is like a wall. It keeps you from going somewhere. When you hit one of the barriers to study, you don't feel very good and you don't feel like studying anymore. So in this case, the barrier is that fence. You can see how he's feeling, but you can go through the barriers to study. Good, so we're going to stop there and we're just going to review a little bit. So study, to look at something and find out more about it. So in this webinar, we're going to be talking about tools to help you do that, to help you look and help you find out more when you're looking. And the steps of study that this book gives, I love these steps. 1, get the information. 2, see how you can use it. And 3, use it. I love the idea that part of study is actually using it. It's not just getting the information, but then there's some thought. See how you can use it. And then step 3, using it. Great set of steps. All right, so now we're going to read a few more pages. Remember, this is just a quick review. We'll be going through it pretty fast. There are 3 barriers to study, and there are special ways to go through each one. The most important barrier, the misunderstood word. Oops, sorry about that. Suppose you had an idea and you found someone to tell about it and told him. How would you tell him? You use words, of course. Let's go swimming. But what if you tried to tell him with words he didn't understand? I love this example. Let's go ephedric. Huh? Neither of you would get much swimming done. By the way, they use some words here. I'll point them out. Ephedric is just a made-up word. It doesn't actually have any meaning. It's the same thing with study. As long as you know all the words, you can study and have a good time. So here's this guy. He's studying about baking a cake. 1, mix the ingredients. 2, put in the oven. You can use what you are studying. But if you didn't know all the words, you would have a hard time. Baking a cake. Step 1, mix the Ethel and mux. Step 2, left in the gazab. Ethel and mux, made up words. Left in the gazab, made up word. But you can't understand it, right? Because we don't know what the words mean. And you couldn't use what you had studied. That cake doesn't look very delicious. In the same way, if you had the wrong meaning for a word you read, you could get some pretty strange ideas. How to feed baby rabbits. Rabbits like lots of vegetables to eat. As a special treat, you may give your rabbit an apple once a week or so. I love this. That's not an apple, is it? He thinks an apple is a brick. Pretty strange idea. And you would not be able to use what you had studied. Yeah, this isn't going to work too well. So he's trying to use what he had studied. Not going to work. A word you hear or read that you don't know the meaning of or that you have the wrong meaning for is called a misunderstood word. Okay, good. We're going to stop there. And what I'd like you to do is just put in some examples of misunderstood words. Oh no, I just saw in the Q&A, you guys aren't seeing the book. I'm so sorry. Let me fix that. Gosh, what a disaster. I'm so sorry, everybody. Well, there it is. Can you all see it now? Okay, good. Okay, good. Well, do you want me to read through all that again, or would you like to keep moving forward? I'll wait for an answer on that. All right, mostly people are saying keep moving forward, so we will. So let's do the next step, which is let's think of a couple examples of a misunderstood word. Go ahead and write in anything that you want to show. I see there's a couple people that would like me to read it again. Why don't we do this? While you are thinking up examples of misunderstood words, I'll read through that again. It'll be pretty quick. I apologize for the wait for those of you who are ready to move on. Okay, here we go. Go from the top. We'll make it pretty quick. Here we are. Okay, here we go. To study is to look at something, to find out more about it. There are many ways to study. People study so they can know how to do things. Here's this great example. This girl wants to know how to climb trees. She says, how do you climb trees? Just watch me. And you can see she watches, and then she's climbing the tree. For someone to study, there has to be something there to study. I want to study wugs. Have you seen any wugs? Wugs? No, haven't seen any. Got any books on wugs? Wugs? No, no books on wugs. Tell me about wugs. Wugs? There are no such thing as wugs. Wugs is another made-up word. Guess I'll study bugs. There's something to study. For you to study something, you must know there is something about it that you don't know. How do bugs eat? Do they go to sleep at night? What do bugs do when it gets cold? Before you start studying something, find out if there is something you could learn about it. How to study. 1, get the information. 2, see how you can use it. 3, use it. Studying is fun. Wow! As you study, you can speed along, learning more and more and being more able to do more and more. Vroom. But sometimes you run into the barriers to study. A barrier is like a wall. It keeps you from going somewhere. When you hit one of the barriers to study, you don't feel very good and you don't feel like studying anymore. But you can go through the barriers to study. There are 3 barriers to study, and there are special ways to go through each one. The most important barrier, the misunderstood word. Suppose you had an idea and you found someone to tell about it and told him. How would you tell him? You use words, of course. Let's go swimming. But what if you tried to tell him with words he didn't understand? Let's go ephedric, huh? Neither of you would get much swimming done. It's the same thing with study. As long as you know all the words, you can study and have a good time. Baking a cake, mix the ingredients, is step one. Step two, put it in the oven. Delicious looking cake. You can use what you are studying. But if you didn't know all the words, you would have a hard time. Baking a cake. 1, mix the effle and mucks. 2, left in the gazab. Bunch of words in there that are made up. You can see how this made that guy feel, right? And you couldn't use what you had studied. In the same way, if you had the wrong meaning for a word you read, you could get some pretty strange ideas. How to feed rabbits. Rabbits like lots of vegetables to eat. As a special treat, you may give your rabbit an apple once a week or so. Looks like he thinks an apple is actually a brick. And you would not be able to use what you had studied. A word you hear or read that you don't know the meaning of or that you have the wrong meaning for is called a misunderstood word. Okay, good. We're all caught up. Let's read some of the examples you guys put in there. Somebody wrote a great one that they gave yesterday. You could think M-E-A-T, which is like hamburger meat, was the same word as M-E-E-T. Someone wrote hot dog does not mean that your dog is hot. And please do not eat your dog. Good point. Someone said, I ate a hot dog and you didn't know what hot dog meant. You thought it was a hot dog. Might be pretty confused. Great. When someone does not know that a baseball bat, they could come up with a strange idea of what it means and good. Love that. Some really great ones. Oh, Milo came up with a really great one. So there's a word called crepuscle, and it means twilight or darkness. So if someone said, it was found when the crepuscle arrived, the children were tired, and it was not there. And when it was not there, they were lively. You might have a really strange idea unless you knew crepuscle just meant twilight or darkness. It's the time when it's getting dark at night. Great examples. Okay, good. All right, so now we're ready to start moving forward. Here we go. Hold on while I get this up. Okay, there it is. Good. So we're going to skip through this section, which we did yesterday. So it takes a little bit more time than I want to do on review. Although I think we might not have read this one. This is an example of a way you could not understand a word. You might not have any meaning for a word at all. So if you heard apple and had no idea what it meant, that obviously would be a misunderstood word, right? And you may not want to know what a word means. A spider is I don't want to learn more about spiders. I think we've all been there before, but it's a way you could have a misunderstood word. Very good point. All right, so the misunderstood word, MU for short, sometimes we'll say, there's an MU in my book, it means a misunderstood word, is a barrier to study. Now here's an interesting point. A symbol is a mark or a sign that means something. So here we have those two lines, the equal sign, which you probably are all familiar with. So that's a symbol right there, the equal, and it means the same as. Now you might not have ever thought of this, but symbols can be misunderstood in the same way that words can be misunderstood. So let's take a minute. We'll leave that one up. Let's take a minute and let's think about some examples of some symbols. And if you can find a symbol you don't know what it means, notice that it's there. And then next time you get a chance to ask your parent or somebody that might know, find out what that symbol means. I could think of a really great example. So there was a time when my mom was having a whole bunch of trouble with getting a piece of electronics to work. Oh, rats, I don't have a pen here. Let's see. Oh, can you guys see the board? So there's a symbol like this. And I bet you everybody here knows what that symbol means. If you see a circle, not very well drawn, with this little triangle, right? We all know that means play. I thought everybody in the world must know that means play. Well, my mom couldn't get the videos on her phone to start playing. And finally I realized she didn't know that that was a symbol that actually meant something. So she couldn't do anything. So there's an example of how a symbol could be a misunderstood word too. You might have something that means something and you just don't know what it is. That one always cracks me up. All right, let's pull up some examples and see what you guys came up with. Excellent. That little square is a symbol. And jolly, great. You said someone could not understand what a division symbol is. That's right. That happens all the time when I'm teaching math. It's a funny thing. Somebody put another great percent symbol, equal to, a whole bunch of great symbols in there. I'm not going to read them all out, but perfect. You guys are doing fabulous. Okay, good. So I wrote some more examples. I don't think you need them. I think you guys are on it. So let's move on to the next section. All right, when you go past a misunderstood word or symbol, you feel blank or washed out. You may yawn. So washed out is a funny one. That could be a misunderstood word for a lot of people. It was for me. So washed out actually means tired and weak. So you might feel blank, washed out, or you might yawn. You may feel not there. Here's a picture of a guy feeling not there. Have you ever been studying something and just felt not there? You could feel kind of nervous and upset. If you go past a lot of MUs, remember that means misunderstood words, you may start to dislike what you are studying. You may start complaining and blaming others. I love this example. Here's this guy studying about bicycles. And here's how he starts feeling. Studying about bicycles is dumb. This is a stupid school. I don't know about you guys, but I've found myself in that position many times. And it's been amazing how if you just learn the meanings of words, for me, I didn't have to feel that way. Here's another thing. You might even leave. I've been studying things before and wanted to leave, that's for sure. And not want to study that anymore. Or if you had to keep studying, you might just memorize the information without really learning anything. You might get a good score on a test, but not be able to use what you had studied. I love this example. So you can see this guy wanted to leave, right? And he did. But I don't know what happened, but he had to keep studying. Maybe his parents made him keep going back to school and keep taking that class. I don't know. We'd have to guess on that. But here he came back, he did the test, he passed 100%, but he's not able to use what he'd studied. Guess I just can't ride anymore. So you can see he tried to fix his bike and he can't get his bike up and working, even though he could pass the test. All right, the special way to go through, oh, we're not going to get onto that just yet. All right, so this should be fun. So now we're going to act out each of the things that can happen when you've gone by a misunderstood word. So I'm going to stop the share and I'll list them out. I made some notes earlier from the book so that we can go through these. So okay, good. So let's do blank first. So if you're reading along and you start feeling blank, I'm going to do my best to act that out. I want you guys at home to act it out too. I'm reading along. I don't know how I did there, but I'm doing my best. All right, now we're going to feel washed out. Remember, washed out means very tired and weak. All right, here we go. I'm reading along. Oh, I have a book. I might as well do that. Reading along. Oh. All right, that's my best. I don't know how I did. I'm not a great actor, but doing it. Okay, not there. I can do this one. Here we go. We're reading along. Hope you guys all have a book and are acting out with me as we go. Good, so I'm reading. Wonder what's for lunch today. How was that? Okay, good. Now I'm going to do tired as the next one. Sure, we've all felt this way while we've been reading at some point or another. Oh, how you doing acting it out there? Are you acting along with us? Hope so. All right. Oh, yawning is the next one. It's kind of funny. I guess you could feel tired. I'm just thinking this through myself. You could feel tired without yawning. I feel like I usually yawn when I'm tired, but I guess both of those could be. So here we go. I'm reading along. All right, that was fun. All right, the next one we're going to act out. I want everybody to do this with me. Nervous and upset. Interesting one. All right. Good. Good, good. All right, next one we're going to act out. Disliking what you are studying. Oh, this one you could have so much fun with. Make it really fun. Ah, so stupid. I don't like this anymore. All right, good. Moving on. Complaining or blaming others. Ooh, I'm a teacher. I could do a good one on this. I'm sure nobody's ever done this before. Ready? I'm reading. This is so stupid. They don't teach me well. My school's dumb. I've done that when I was a student. This book is so silly. They don't know what they're talking about. All right, here we go. Next one. Leaving. I went off to ride my bike. It was fun. All right, not wanting to study anymore. I'm going to act that one out. You guys acted along with me. Yeah, Andrew is right. All right. So we're doing not wanting to study anymore. What time is it? God, is class over yet? All right, good. Last one we're going to do is you can memorize it, but you can't use it. God, I don't know how to act that out. Let's pretend I'm learning about bicycle repair. I love that example. Okay. Step 1, step 2, step 3. All right, I'll go to the bicycle. I don't know how to do it. It's my best. Hopefully you guys are doing better than me out there. Awesome. Okay, I bet you did some awesome acting. All right, has anybody ever gotten tired while studying? I know I have, and I know it makes it hard to study. When any of those things are going on, it's hard, right? So wouldn't it be great if you didn't have to feel that way while you were studying? Well, if you are feeling that way while studying, there are some things you can do. Remember, it said there are tools. So what do you do so you don't have to be feeling that way anymore? Let's get the answer to that. Let's give you some tools. Okay. Here we go. The special way to go through the barrier of the misunderstood word is find out what the word means. Pretty obvious. But there's some ways you can do that that actually are really helpful, and we're going to give you those ways. And I think you'll find it's really useful for you. So here we go. So here's the key information. You start feeling bad after you pass the misunderstood word. So you can see this guy's studying and he's doing fine before. Then after he passes by the misunderstood word, you can see he's yawning. So here you can see on page 1, he was doing fine. And on page 2, he starts yawning. The misunderstood word, MU, is at the end of where you are not having trouble. So let's look at this. So here, he's doing okay. Here, okay, I think, but here he's starting to have trouble. So it says the MU is at the end of where you were not having trouble. To find the MU, go back to where you were not having trouble, then find out where you began having trouble. Look for the MU right at the end of where you were not having trouble. So let's look at this picture again. So you can see here on page 1, he's doing fine. On page 2, he's doing fine. But on page 3, he's having trouble. So he's going to look back to the end of where he was not having trouble. And that, in this case, was on page 2. So you look for the MU right at the end of where you were not having trouble. So here you can see on page 2, he read, I fed the turkey. But I think this picture is supposed to show he doesn't really know what turkey means. Let's see what comes next. Yeah. Okay, so you get how that works? So whenever you feel or do any of the things that happen when you pass a misunderstood word, go back to where you were not having trouble and find the word or symbol you didn't understand. It's pretty simple. It's a really powerful tool. So let's practice this a little bit, okay? So let's pretend I'm reading. I don't know how well you can see the page numbers. Let me take something we've already read. Let's take this one. So let's say I'm reading along here. And I'm reading along and I'm doing just fine. I'm doing just fine. And right here, I start noticing that I keep thinking about dinner and what's for lunch in my mind. I'm not there. I'm like feeling a lot not there right about here. So what I want to do is I want to go back to where I was not having trouble and find the word or symbol I didn't understand. So I'm not going to look here. I'm going to go back here where I wasn't having trouble. And when I think about it, I was starting to kind of be not there back here. So I'm going to go back here. I was doing just fine here, not having any trouble. I look, I realize I'm not actually sure what a bug is. So then I can find out what a bug is, and I should be doing better. Does that make sense? Okay, good. I hope that makes sense to you. What I want you to do now is I want you to grab a book anywhere in your house, and just practice those steps. I'm going to leave this. No, I guess I can't leave this up because I want to look at your questions and answers. But just remember this simple thing. Whenever you feel any of the things that happen when you pass an MU, go back to where you were not having trouble and find the word or symbol you didn't understand. So I want everybody to practice that. Just grab a book and pretend they're studying along, doing fine, and then start having trouble. And go back to where you were not having trouble and find the word or symbol. Good, go ahead and do it. I'm going to look at your questions and answers and answer any questions that might be coming up. Isha, thank you for telling me I'm a great actor. I'm not sure that's true, but I appreciate your kind words. Good. Go ahead. I'm going to read these steps just to kind of keep them in your mind, but I want you guys to go ahead and practice it. The MU is at the end of where you are not having trouble. To find the MU, go back to where you were not having trouble. Then find out where you began having trouble. Look for the MU right at the end of where you were not having trouble. So there's the key line right there. I'm going to hold that up while I look at some of these questions in case anybody has anything. Good. Yeah, this is the one. Well, that's kind of silly. I might as well just put it up. Whenever you feel or do any of the things that happen when you pass an MU, go back to where you were not having trouble and find the word or symbol you didn't understand. Wow, Alette says she actually did find an MU when she did that. Great. And Jolly asked, can you be tired when you yawn? Yeah, I mean, just my opinion, but I sure think so. I think sometimes when I'm tired, I yawn, and sometimes when I'm tired, I don't yawn. My eyes get heavy. That's just me. Just saying what happens for me. You'll have to decide for yourself. Good. A couple people are asking me if I can see them. I can't see you at all. All I can see are your questions, and then whatever's on the screen, but I can't see you. So if you're doing some acting, I didn't get to see it, but I bet it was awesome. Thank you for all of you who did that. Okay, good. Hopefully you guys all practiced that a little bit. We're gonna move on. Oh my goodness, time is already running short. This goes so fast. That's all right. We'll do some more classes next week, but we can get a little bit more done today. Okay, let's read the next one. Okay, simple words. You might think that it is the big words which are most misunderstood. This is not true. Simple words like a, the, or, and an are often misunderstood. When you are looking for a misunderstood word, don't just look for the big words, look for the simple words also. Great. So here's a little review for us. Look right before you started having trouble. Look for simple words too. All right, why don't you guys think of a couple examples of simple words that you could look for when you're looking for a misunderstood word. Oops, let me turn the share off. And Jolly, those are great. I love some of the things you're putting in. And I'm glad it's helping. That's super great. Is. Excellent, Alette. Nora, perfect. The. You'd be surprised how many times when I'm working with people and they're starting to have trouble, it's actually the little words. It's really cool. So don't forget to check for those. If you start feeling like you're getting tired or any of those feelings, check those little words. That can really, knowing what those are can really help you, and not knowing what those are can really make that barrier to study happen. Why? That is great. Great, Andrew. And Jolly, great examples. These are great. Okay, we obviously get what simple words are. So we have enough time to start working on the next thing, which is fun, which is how to learn words using a dictionary. So next class, we'll do some more work on this. We'll review what we've done and we'll probably do some more, but let's get started with it. Sound good? Okay, good. Okay, so we are going to read the next few pages. Here we go. Looking up words. So looking up means looking in a dictionary to find the meanings. Learning the meaning of a word is just like studying anything else. You study it so that you can use it. The way to learn the meaning of a word is find it in the dictionary. So I think a lot of you know what dictionaries are, but some of you might not have used a dictionary much. Dictionaries can be really valuable. This is a dictionary. It's a book full of words and what the words mean. Super helpful. Okay, the way to learn the meaning of a word is find it in the dictionary. So here they have apple. Apple means a fruit that is round and red. Read the meaning. So you're going to open the dictionary, find the word. Apple. I actually found it. Apple. So here's the word apple. I'm going to read the meaning. A round, usually crisp fruit, and use it. The way to use and really understand a word is to make sentences using the word. So here you can see he reads it and then he goes, I want to eat an apple. Apples are delicious. I'm going to make a few. I love apples with peanut butter. Apples grow on trees. Okay, good. Use the word in sentences until you really understand it and can use it. This could take 10 or more sentences. All right, we'll do a few more to make sure I really understand it. So apples and oranges are about the same size. Apples taste really different than oranges. Okay, good. I feel pretty good about that. I'm going to move on. So it says some words have more than one meaning. This is a great example. So a table has a leg. But there's another meaning of leg, which is like leg. We all have legs. When you look up a word, you must learn all the meanings that way. When you see the word used, when you look up a word, you must learn all the meanings. Excuse me. That way, when you see a word used a different way later, you will understand it. To look up a word that has more than one meaning, first find and learn the meaning that fits what you are studying. If that meaning isn't in your dictionary, you can find a bigger dictionary. I feel like we must have missed something. Okay, look, good. Here it is. Then learn the other meanings. So here, the table leg was broken. The chair had 4 legs. Most beds have short legs. I fixed the table's leg. So he learns that one, and then he learns the other one. Then learn the other meanings. I have 2 legs. The tall boy had long legs. My leg hurt yesterday. Dogs have furry legs. For each meaning of the word, use it in sentences until you really understand it. Remember, this could take 10 sentences or more. Good, I think that's as far as we'll go. We'll just do some examples of that. So I like the word lava in here. I'm gonna look up the word lava in this dictionary. Let me stop the share. So first, I'm gonna use the dictionary to find it. So L comes before M, comes before K, after I. Good, and then I found the word. So here's the word lava, and it has 2 meanings. So let's pretend that it said the hard lava on the beach cut my foot. So I'd have to look. And the first one says the hot liquid rock that pours out of a volcano when it erupts. The second one says the rock formed when this liquid has cooled and hardened. So I think it's number 2. That's the one that makes the most sense for the way it was used. So I'm going to make some sentences with that. The lava was 200 years old. I walked on the lava. When I walked over the lava, I made sure to wear shoes because I know it can be sharp. I love looking at the shape of old lava. Lava is usually black. Yeah, okay, I feel like I understand that pretty well. So now I'm going to go to the first one, the hot liquid rock that pours out of a volcano when it erupts. Okay, so that's like the fiery stuff. All right, so the lava came out of the volcano. The lava was so hot that I couldn't get more than 100 feet from it. The lava poured down the side of the mountain and burned up some trees. There was lava coming out of a hole in Hawaii. The lava was too hot for me to touch. Okay, good, I feel like I got that. So that's what we do for those steps. Now there's some more steps. It's 314. I think we'll learn the rest of those steps the next day, but that's the basic first step on learning a word. And one of the things I want to say is if you learn all these steps, which next time we get together, we can read through the rest of them, or you can read it. You can look at this book on the links that are sent out with the webinars. You can't download it, but you can look at them. And you can learn those steps and practice them at home. But if you learn words this way, it's a really great way to build a big vocabulary. And the bigger your vocabulary, the more stuff you can read more easily. So it's a great set of steps to just practice, not with the idea, this is just for me, this is my thought and what's helped me, is not with the idea of like, I have to, but like it's such a great tool to use to build your vocabulary so that you can keep reading and studying more and more advanced things, and you can really learn all the things you want to learn. Because as we learned, misunderstood words can be a real challenge, can make it really hard to study, right? Okay, my friends, I'm going to take a look and see if there's any other questions that I haven't answered. If anybody has any questions they want to put in there, go ahead. Great. Gosh, some great examples in here that I didn't get to read. Lovely. Great. I see some of you guys grabbed a dictionary and started looking up meanings of words. That's fabulous. Andrew pointed out meaning or mean has two different meanings. One could be like mean, and one could mean like, what does that mean? That's a great example. Okay, great. Lovely, lovely, lovely. You guys did a great job. I think that is all the time we have. Let me look at the clock. Yeah, we're actually a minute over our time. Thank you for joining me. A schedule will come out next week, and we'll just keep going through this book, and we'll learn as many tools as we can. Hopefully it helps you as you study. Thank you, everybody. See you next week. Done. Forgot to talk about herons.